So,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about the work you do.
So I run a digital agency. It's mostly for construction and industrial brands, trades as well.
Right.
And so we've seen marketing shift a whole lot. So it's effectively marketing is what we're doing, websites
Sure.
and so on. And so the way I look at it, and which might resonate to you, is for so long marketing is with people have spoken about the sales funnel and the marketing. You used to think about it in a funnel, and you would have experienced this as if there was a catch-all where you capture lots of potential leads and whittle them down until they would become a customer and client.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the way to look at it anymore, simply for a few reasons. One of them being um, that you don't that the process isn't linear anymore. People will bump into your brand in all sorts of different ways. So they'll enter your world so many different ways. But the client should never be like the end goal. That's really the just the start of a whole bunch of other potential marketing um, that you can do off the back of that because people want to, your next best client probably looks like your current best client. So you want to showcase the works you're doing for the construction industry, the works you're doing right now for those. So it's not the end of the funnel. It's kind of like a cyclical process where you use case studies, stories, example, real life proof. So that's the way we're thinking about marketing. I think that's the way forward because people don't need to download your free resource anymore and be tricked into your sales funnel. It doesn't work like that.
Sure, sure. I
Yeah,
think
so
I
that's
think I think that you're like you talked about the fact that it's not necessarily about the work you did with the one client, right? It's
yeah,
the totality. And again, I mean, I just said it. What I do is all about relationships.
yeah,
So if you can help your people market, right, and get in front of the right people, then the one client
yeah,
they had, especially in the construction industry, they all know each other.
yeah,
They
for
all know
sure.
each other, right? So
Yeah,
if you do a great job, that word spreads.
mm,
If you do a
absolutely.
if you do a lousy job, that word spreads faster. So
Yeah,
I think when
that's so
you,
true.
but isn't it still boil down to the relationship that you build with someone, whether it starts through a
Yeah,
digital contact point, right?
yeah,
Or it's meeting someone at a trade event, right?
yeah,
And you're marketing in live and in person, regardless of the entry point,
yeah,
it's still a company that requires
yeah,
peer-to-peer interaction, human contact,
100%.
right?
Yeah,
And your communication skills, your ability to build the relationship once the sale's done, right? The sale is just the beginning, as you said. In the work that I do, we talk about it all the time. When
mm,
I've done a great job for you, that's when the relationship begins. And
yeah,
then the question I ask,
100%.
and I ask
Yeah,
the question, what was it like to work with me? I want
yeah,
you to tell people what your experience was like, right? I want you
yeah,
to share it. Digitally, you get to share it, right?
yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's so true. I think that's the future, and I don't think everyone's twigged yet, but eventually it's my view that everyone's just going to have the capacity to have all the wonderful tools that we all have now. So we'll all be potentially the same in so many ways, but the the human connections and relationship is the only thing that we're going to be left that will make us distinct in this world. So that's what I'm doubling. That's why I'm on podcasts, to be perfectly clear. It's a way people are experiencing me in a way and my flaws and vulnerabilities. I'm not a professional speaker by any means, but hopefully people can find some value in relation, connection in some way. I think it's the only way forward in the future.
So do you work with folks in all arenas, in all areas, and you highlight and have an expertise in the construction field?
Yeah,
Um,
but so
I'm curious.
we weren't always niched to the construction industry. It sort of happened almost organically in that most of our better clients were in that space, but we've certainly got legacy clients in different arenas, working on a science website right now.
Oh,
They
cool.
science content writers, so they research and write materials, so completely different. But for the most part, for whatever reason, I relate really well to the construction people, and I think it's not because I'm a tradie or a trade. We have nicknames for everything, a tradesperson. Um, it's more that I just relate really well to that type of person because they're usually down to earth, pragmatic, on the tools, getting the job done. It's kind of what I relate to really well.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, I'm not sure.
Right.
So yeah, it's but the I guess the strategies that I share on the podcasts would be useful for everybody, realistically. Any personal brand, any business brand. I think it's kind of the same now. I think we've all got to leverage our personal brands, even if you're an employee, to a degree. So yeah,
Sure. This is a complete departure for me. I run an organization called the Accountants Resource Group, which is private, by invitation only, by introduction
yeah,
only, right? We
right,
only work with people that know people we already work with, and then they'll make an
mm,
introduction. We're in our
right,
29th year with zero marketing or advertising.
yeah,
Zero.
yeah,
So this podcast is the first attempt at anything, content that we push out.
yeah,
But it just got to the point where the digital market for the
mm,
people that I do work with became critically important, and I wanted to share them. So
yeah,
that's how this came to be, was to provide added value to the folks I already work with and give them a
yeah.
platform so that we could highlight them.
Yeah, brilliant. I spoke on another podcast. You might have bumped into her. I wish I could remember. I think she may have been in South Africa or somewhere, but her audience was accounting students. So a completely different world.
Well, good. When
But
you remember her, connect us
yeah,
so
yeah,
so
yeah.
she and I
I'll
can
jot
have a
that.
conversation.
I'll jot that down because I'll find it in. I've got a list of all the old podcasts. The accounting. Yeah, okay.
And you work with folks all over the world?
Yeah, mostly in Australia, just because it's easy to build
Easy.
relationships here, as you probably can understand. But there are clients all around. Because we're niched, people kind of search us out because we have specialized understanding in certain industries
Right.
as well.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
it's a lot of content and a lot of commercial real estate um, professionals from all over the world.
Yeah, right. We're having major disruption in all forms of real estate investment. A lot of people are moving toward commercial simply because of the tax legislation that's being announced and so on.
So what's that look like in Australia?
Yeah, so we had I don't know how it relates to how it might work in other parts of the world, but we had capital gain discount. So if you held a investment property or any asset class for over a year, you would get it. It would kind of the capital gain would be added to your income, and then half the capital gain would be added to your income, and you'd pay tax at your tax rate. But now they're not doing it that way anymore. You're not getting that 50% discount. Um, you're getting it indexation. So they'll try and figure out the index the inflation of each year over the course of how many years. I don't know how they're going to do that mathematically, but they'll figure that out and give you the tax on the real gain. But it's a nightmare for accounting, and it's a nightmare for everybody, and it's probably going to be a whole lot more tax for in a whole lot of ways. But it's every asset class. It's
Wow.
so disruptive, and no one really knows. There's other things. I don't want to get too bogged down in it. The other one is the trusts. So lots of businesses would set up through trusts,
Mm-hmm.
and the government feel as though people are rotting the system and not paying enough tax. So they've made a 30% minimum tax on anything that's paid through a trust, which is insane because you got small businesses, couples running as a trust entity, and they're paying themselves half each, to minimize tax, so they'd find themselves in a small bracket. Now all of a sudden they've got to pay 30% anyway. It is insane.
Well,
I'm rambling because I'm pretty
no,
heated
it's
about it.
okay. We have similar things happening in New York City.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
we have a new mayor in New York City who is
Uh,
just publicly announced that if you're a landlord in a building where they deem you're not doing a good job taking care of it, they're going to try and take it away from you.
uh, take the
They're
whole
just going to take
property.
it away from you and give it away, or the government's going to own it.
Oh, man, I thought we were becoming communist. That's
He
oh
is
man, that's
a
it.
it's a very I love speaking with people from other countries because
Mm,
learning about, I mean, I have a colleague who ran a digital, she runs a branding agency and converted a lot of it during COVID to digital marketing. And
mm,
uh, she and I talked a lot during COVID and what was
mm.
happening near you or near her and what was
Yeah,
happening for us in New York were parallel some weeks, and one week you were also you all were worse off than we were. The next week
yeah,
we were worse off than you were with government
yeah,
action, right? With what the government was doing and
yeah,
what was happening. So I love speaking to people from other countries to get perspective on how things are different,
yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, it's always it interested me that you have different systems for different locations in the States, which is remarkable. It's just not, it's just a foreign thing for us. I mean, we have state um,
I
land
was going to say,
tax.
wait, but you have different states and you
Yeah,
have
different.
different governmental rules state by state.
Yeah, for the most part, your general taxation works the same everywhere, but it's just extra land. There's land tax, which is state driven. That goes through the state.
But
Not much.
you have business law and tax,
Yeah.
you have things that are different state to state, right?
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Um, our state is the worst state, unfortunately. Um,
Well, depending on who you ask, because at some point somebody voted for those people.
yeah, I know, I know. It's
So
well,
you may
worse.
not feel that way, but somebody in the neighborhood does. They like them.
Yeah, that's true. It's certainly not the business owners. I know it's not my
Yeah,
the people I relate to
yeah.
mostly. So,
Well, the small
um,
business owners are who run our country, right? They were the
yeah,
ones, our economy in the United States is run on small business, right?
yeah,
Main Street businesses, middle up to middle market.
yeah,
And it's very interesting because there are administrations who really want to squash
yes,
the Main Street business owner, and they think everybody
yeah,
should rely on the government. And or
yeah,
you should work for a larger corporation and the government can control the rules and regulations of that corporation. So it's
yeah,
very interesting. It really depends on how you see the world. I was
yeah,
raised by an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 35 years. I've worked with clients,
yeah,
but I've never
yeah,
really worked for anyone.
yeah,
So my perspective is a little different. I know which precedents it was harder to be a business owner under versus,
yeah,
you know, which
yeah,
regulations made it harder for me and which regulations encouraged me to do more.
yeah. Yeah, so it impacts. I think the problem with it all is because the entrepreneurs who are hiring people, they're just one vote, whereas the masses, they're many votes. So if you want to quickly get into power, you've got to appeal to the masses, even though that might not be helpful or healthy for the nation or the state, or But that's yeah, I suppose you can hear my heart of what I think politically we should be focusing on. Um, yeah, so that capital gain tax that I mentioned that applies to startups, every company as well. So if you sell a business, and because a startup starts with nothing, they just start with sweat oftentimes. So there's
Well,
no
yeah, the sweat
cost base.
equity. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, there's no cost base to measure against that sweat. There's no number to that sweat that they've been poured in over the years. So
yeah.
the capital gain tax if they are successful, and a lot of startups aren't, but if they are, it could be a massive tax chunk that they take, and I don't think it's warranted. You started with nothing. I don't know if they have any right to any tax, but out of that, the capital gain. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with our startup community might diminish dramatically, I would say.
Which is a shame. And it's also what they're doing is they're squashing the individual,
Mm,
right? Small business don't work for yourself. You need to work for the government. We'll protect you.
Yeah.
We'll take care of you. It's all, for me, it's silly. Um,
Yeah. The
some of the most
aspiration.
brilliant things that have ever come to light for us as people and culturally for our environment have come
Mm.
from somebody's thought in the garage,
Yeah.
right? Like,
100%.
um, so often, right? Actually, always, politics change policy and policy impacts our business, right?
Yeah.
So what you're talking about is an administration that changed policy or is attempting to change policy that's going to impact, right? The
Mm.
creativity of entrepreneurs, the interest in younger people to own businesses, right? For anybody to buy a business or
Mm.
sell a business.
Mm.
So I always say we don't talk about politics. We talk about policy and how it impacts our clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can't
For
change the
sure.
people that are in power,
Yeah.
right? I
Well,
am only one vote. You're only one
yeah.
vote. How do you change
Yeah.
the tide?
That's right. It's
Um, but you
yeah.
can work on figuring out how to do what you do better and help your clients do what they do better
Yeah.
within a new guideline, within like what's the workaround,
Yeah. Well, there's
right?
massive benefits. The one carve out and the one thing they're not going to touch for the capital gains for building, and we work with lots of construction companies, so some of them are home builders,
Sure.
is the new home builds. They're trying to encourage more houses being built because we don't have enough, because we have lots of migration. Um,
Where's your migration coming from?
um, all over. I don't know the exact numbers, but it feels like the Asian nations, India,
Hmm.
those sorts of places. Some skilled workers um, to build houses, but then they're the ones living in the houses, kind of. So it's this kind of snowball effect. But
Yeah.
yeah, so the construction guys, they can do well potentially, but there's other headwinds because building materials, with everything going on, the price is jumping through the roof for some materials. Some areas, the steel you put into slabs for the construction is like doubled. So to do your slab is twice the price it was not so long ago. PVC pipes for the plumbing and so on, that's
Well,
gone
isn't
through
that
the
have a
roof.
doesn't that have a petroleum base?
That's right. Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
with a
Anything.
petroleum base right now is got
It's
surcharges
nuts.
galore. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so they're trying to keep, you can imagine they do a fixed price, they do a fixed price contract, and then by the time they start, things are blown out of control. So it's incredibly hazardous times for them
Yeah.
to navigate.
You
Yeah.
know, even I know it's a silly thing, but in the community where I live, they have like $500,000 contract for landscaping. And the
Wow. Yeah.
landscaper just sent us a notice saying you have a surcharge for X, cents per gallon of
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's 500 homes, so it's a pretty significant size community. So I said, well, what on average is that going to cost us additionally,
Yeah.
right? It's a surcharge because gas is expensive,
Yes.
right? The cost of gas has gone up. So yeah, in almost every area, if you have to pave a road right now, right? You talk about commercial real estate. If you have to pave a parking lot, if you have to pave a road, it's
Mm.
like double the cost of what it was
Yeah.
6 months ago,
It's
right?
crazy. I was speaking to a road person just yesterday, and he was saying how they used to get all their material from somewhere, but they can't get it from there anymore, and so they've got to get a second rate. I don't understand the full how it works, but there's another grade of material they can use for the road base, but it's not anywhere near as good quality, and it's more expensive. So you're getting a worse product at a more expensive price, and there's no way around it right now. So I mean, it's a nightmare for him. But yeah, the other thing with the housing too is I don't know how it works everywhere else, but people will purchase a piece of land ahead of time, so it might not be released for 12 months, 18 months, 2 years even. And so you can't get a build contract that lasts that length of time. So you do your numbers and you figure out what you can afford. You can afford to build. Yeah, cool. Let's buy this land. And by the time um, that it's released, we'll be ready to build. But then by the time you get ready to build, the price is no longer affordable. And so people are a bit scared. So there's just all this fear that's preventing people from doing anything right now, it feels like.
Did you have that same circumstance during COVID? Because I feel like we had that, right? The
Yeah,
supply chain for materials was so backed up, and there was no telling when you could get roof tiles, when you could get
yeah,
lumber, right?
yeah.
With
Lumber was a big one.
the concrete
Yeah,
factories could not produce enough
yeah,
concrete.
yeah. It
Um,
was really tough. The lumber specifically for the framing of houses and so on.
Sure.
And so a lot of people started thinking, let's do steel. There's always been a few companies who will build a house with steel framing, but a lot of people are thinking about moving that way. But it settled down eventually. But the prices, it
I
was
was going to say the
crazy.
cost of steel versus even expensive lumber is, uh,
Yeah, yeah, I know, I
it's
know. It's
significant.
it's a crazy time and it's really difficult. And I appreciate as you say, policy that's trying to help younger people get into the market and to get established and buy something and so on. But sometimes the solution is worse than the problem itself, the
Well,
unintended
the
consequences.
solution, I was gonna, those were my words, that the solution they come up with today to solve the problem creates unintended consequences that we all
Yeah,
have to live with in the aftermath, right?
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, go on.
so I want to go back to your business for a minute because
Cool.
I
Sorry,
could talk about, no, I could talk about commercial real estate for a long time. I know a lot about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's always interesting to me what people are doing in other countries and if they
Mm,
have the same challenges that we have. Uh,
mm,
but your business as a digital marketer,
yeah,
right? Do you find that you have a tech stack that you use over and over again? Or do you have, particularly for that industry, or is it the same tech stack no matter which industry, and you just find that those tools are exceptional or have a better outcome?
yeah, yeah. We sort of overhauled, and we'll continue to overhaul the way in which we build out the websites and do the optimization and all of that thing. Simply because there's better tools all the time. We reworked
Yeah.
our standard operating procedures pretty significantly, and a part of that process was adjusting the technology that we would use.
Mhm.
For the client, the end product is the same, but the way in which we get there is evolved and will continue to evolve. But it's more. So that's all behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The value that I realize I need to bring to market because um, the technical piece is the value in that is diminishing because people can do their own websites and stuff these
Oh
days.
my
So
goodness. I don't even
yeah,
want to mention the tool, but this week somebody introduced me to something, and in 15 minutes, I built what I have been struggling for 6 months to figure out how to build. In
yeah,
15
some
minutes.
vibe
And all
coding.
I did, oh my goodness, all I did, I'll tell you when we're not
Yeah,
recording. We literally, I don't want to give them a free plug, but I literally prompted it with what I wanted to build,
yeah,
and I put the phone down, and in 15 minutes, the entire thing was built.
yeah. That's
I
remarkable.
It is remarkable. So that's why I asked if because certainly
Yeah,
don't want to help you talk yourself out of work. But I was curious, what are
yeah,
some of the tools that
yeah,
your average small business owner could use to help promote themselves? Forget about the
yeah,
website and the SEO because we know that that's critically important to all the algorithms. If you're not
yeah,
optimized, nobody's finding you. But
yeah.
but
So we partner with a lot of, when they're bigger companies, they'll have a marketing department. So they'll do a lot of the heavy lifting internally. So we'll come alongside to do the bits that only we can do. But yeah, so things like Canva and it's got AI built into it. Like people can do their social media really. It
yeah.
looks really great. And it's far easier than it was previously. But then there's
Sure.
tools to syndicate the message out really quick and easy. Our preferred one is Publer,
What is it?
because Publer. And the reason we like that one is it will post to your Google business profile as well. And because still Google is the one of the leading sources of traffic for any website. So
Sure.
Google love their own ecosystem of tools. So you really want to publish to the Google business profile. And so oftentimes we're coming alongside the marketing company, but realistically for me, I see our business evolving to be more of the consultant type of thing, and that's what I really enjoy anyway. So the tech piece, there's a diminishing value in bringing that to the market, but the in a world of abundant options and lots of good options, how do you possibly choose the best option? And so I think that's where someone like me will come in, to help set people on the right foundations and set up some systems and the marketing message and all of that fun stuff. Get their voice right, voicing documents and get established in the right way. So I think that's the value that I can bring. It's the human side.
100%. I was going to say
Yeah,
AI, you can train it almost to speak in a common voice, but not in your voice. And there's a
yeah,
very different perspective when you and I chat. You'll get to
mm,
know me. I can ask
mm,
questions, right? Yes, you can ask and prompt AI for a million things.
mm,
But when you listen to me and I share my business with you and what I'm trying to accomplish,
mm,
right? Aside from knowing the tools and how to do that, you also know the marketplace. It doesn't know the
yeah,
marketplace. It doesn't have a handle on what's happening, right, with
mm,
governmental policies, zoning laws. It doesn't know the marketplace challenges. It doesn't understand economic forces that you're reading
mm,
about that maybe not have they haven't happened yet, but
yeah,
they're being proposed, so they're having an impact on the market. AI is not
mm.
in a place where it's going to replace people, at least not yet.
No, well,
Not
not
yet.
not good thought leadership type people. Maybe if people get a bit lazy and just rely upon the tools, then they'll just become part of the tool. It's and
Well, isn't that the case with most
yeah,
AI platforms? We are, in fact, the product. It's learning
yeah,
from us,
yeah,
right?
just like social media. That's right. All the information. It would be fascinating that massive pool of information floating out there in a
Well,
data center somewhere.
when you think that the AI tools are pulling data from Reddit, which is
Yeah.
80% garbage.
Yes.
It's like shopping at Marshall's or a discount store. There are some wonderful finds in there, but you have to have the patience and the time to sort through everything else to find the one shirt or the one dress or the one thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Reddit, I find for year after year after year, I'll try and I find it very challenging to actually engage in a high level conversation,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
you
right.
know?
It's
Um,
a wild world out there in those communities and
but
um
that's where they say that they're pulling tremendous stuff.
yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of it comes from there and
Other
yeah.
places, other
Yeah.
places.
Yeah. Ideally, so that's part of what we're building the websites out. So with the content strategy, because, you know, the large language models have got to be educated with material somewhere. So it may as well be your website if you build it in the right way. And
Right.
at least around your company, if someone were to be researching your company, at least it's got a big pool of information to draw upon as well. So, it's there's only so much you can do, and it's it's challenging when you don't know precisely if it's telling you the truth all the time or if it's telling you what you want to hear. It certainly feels like
Well,
that for me.
many times I have said back to it, that seems like what you think I want, but tell me what I need, not what I want. Right? And
Yes.
I re-prompt it and redirect it. But many times it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's not as accurate. It's not a Google search, you know?
Yeah.
It,
Yeah,
it,
that's right.
So Wes, this has really been terrific, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, brilliant. Excellent.